Hit 'em up. Get the delts rocking. Get the biceps popping. Get ready to crush the day. Snap it in half. My amplified unit. Let's get rocking. Let's get amplified. Big time. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Let's do this. I got plenty of coffee. Several different types. Ow! Hot, cold, indifferent. B motherfucking C rocking it out. What's rocking? Let me know if you guys got me, please. Let me get some fucking playback up in this bitch. It's been a minute. BC's been up in California, guys. Over in California, I should say. Lots of business to take care of. 5 full fucking days of business. Check, check. BC is live in this motherfucker. Get up. Wake up. Get up and get amplified. All right, I got damn good playback. What am I saying, man? That's damn good playback on BC's end. I'm going to rock out for a little bit, man. Like I said, just got back from California. Lots of business. Wasn't able to review SmackDown, unfortunately. I did see that final ending storyline. Don't remind me, unit. I gotta remember to talk about that storyline at the end of SmackDown for sure, because there's a lot to go over, but I wasn't able to review SmackDown. California, there was a lot of business, and I got to go right the fuck back to in a few days, and then I got to go up to New England. I got to go all over the fucking place. February is booked. A lot of business. But, as I assured you guys, man, anytime, any chance that I got to produce the very best and knowledgeable entertainment content, you're gonna get it from the Amplified, man, because there ain't no other. I damn assure you of that. Now, this is on 20 minutes of notice in the middle of a fucking Monday afternoon after being gone for 5 days. So most of you guys are going to catch this afterwards. Totally understand that shit. That's just where the chips fall. Sorry you guys couldn't catch this live. This is the time I had it, man. Back from Cali, there were several things that I want to talk about, several things that I have to actually look into and talk about with my unit, like the ratings. Haven't even been able to catch those yet for this week, Dynamite and SmackDown. So there's things we have to discuss and talk about in the wrestling world, and this is the time that BC had to do it. So most of you guys will catch this after we are live. Totally understand that. And I just still thank you for catching BC, still smashing that up and rocking. Because when we're live, trust me when I say this, I've been doing this long enough, the tube does not push it out anyway in the algorithm. So that's another reason. Man, you guys are fucking rock stars though, man. I see up in the chat. Robert Hurt, War Dog, Kelsey, Eric, JR9, Dwayne, Tay, DeMonte Mabry. A little bit of a name change there. Young's up in here, so we got a good fucking little crowd now. Hopefully I won't take you guys longer than a half an hour on this fucking content. I don't know. It's been a minute. Hopefully this doesn't take more than a half an hour. James Miller, what's up, man? Bash, what up? First and foremost, if I may, I would like to get into the Tony Khan talk, because it's pretty fucking lengthy. I'm going to condense it. I'm going to shorten this. A few days ago, obviously, Tony Khan got the wrestling world talking when he said he would like to work with WWE, right? And this got everybody going, what? He's saying it again. He keeps wanting to work with WWE after he said that Triple H disrespected him. Well, this is what he said. This was AEW Boss Tony Khan, right? As far as working with the WWE, Tony Khan says this, and I quote, "Who knows? It's something I would certainly be open to, and I think it's an interesting thing for the future. It's not something that's ever really been done before. They've kind of existed in their own space. We are working with a lot of wrestling promotions, and at times they've done stuff like that. But it would be a really interesting thing to see at some point." He goes on to say, "I think it's like Marvel and DC. You don't see those superheroes really crossing over very much. I think there'd be a lot of jostling for who's going to be positioned stronger, and it would get very political." So, again, just to simplify that, what he said is, I would love to do something like that. Who knows? Leaving it open. It's something I would certainly be open to. But and he said that they've done something similar in the past with working with other companies. I think he's talking more or less the ECW relationship, which Vince McMahon was paying Paul Heyman every single week, every month. He was delivering a check over to Paul Heyman. Even Paul Heyman to this day doesn't really know why, but he kept taking those checks from Vinnie Mac. But of course, AEW took it to another level with the Forbidden Door talk and events. So he said they've done stuff like that, but they've been in their own space for the majority. He is open to it, but he sees it like a Marvel, DC Comics type thing where you don't really see them mix it up. But that was a few days ago. So everybody started talking about that, right? Okay. So then we go to the buyout. Something that over the last week to 2 weeks, he's been kind of... he mulled himself a little bit, right? He muffled his own words on it. He kind of silenced himself on the WWE talk. Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about the sale when at first he was saying, yeah, I would love to see what the process is and see if I would like to be a part of that. And then he kind of went silent on it. And now all of a sudden, here's Tony Khan asked about it. And this is exactly what he said about purchasing WWE, or at least being in the talks, wanting to be in the talks. He says, and I quote, this is still Tony Khan, I don't know exactly what will happen with that sale. I've been told, and I think they've said publicly, that there may be a sale process. If there is a sale process, certainly I am interested in it and potentially being involved in it. We'll have to see what that process is and who exactly they'll let get involved in it. Certainly, I am interested in it very much. 3 times in one paragraph, Tony Khan says, I am interested in that shit. 3 times, one fucking paragraph. I don't know exactly what will happen with that sale. I think they've said publicly that there'll be a sale process. If there is a process, I am interested in it, and I'm interested in being involved in it. We'll have to see what the process is and who they'll let exactly into it. Who they will let get involved, my bad, is the exact quote. Who they'll let get involved. So he's telling you guys, he's telling all of us that WWE might not even let them get involved with it, guys. So if WWE doesn't want to sell to them or doesn't even want to hear, see, that goes against what Nick Khan said. Nick Khan says we're open for business. We're hearing all offers. Could you imagine if Vince McMahon didn't want to work with Shad Khan, Tony's father, the real moneymaker, who's worth, I believe, upwards of $12 to $13 billion. And would Triple H, Paul Levesque, want to work with Tony Khan? We know there's that animosity. So at any point, Vince McMahon could tell Nick Khan, no, I don't want to hear any offers from the Khans. And then Nick Khan would have to say, sorry, not sorry, Tony, Shad. Vince doesn't want to do any business with you. And that's not in the best interest of your shareholders at that point, right? This is exactly what Vince said he wanted to do. He's coming back to help. Well, what if Shad Khan wanted to give $8 billion, right? The current value for WWE, right? The current value for WWE is approximately $6.8 billion, guys. That's the last estimate that I got before I took off for California about 4 days ago. I would doubt very much that changed to 7.2 or went down to a 6.4. So I'm assuming, and sometimes when you assume you make an ass out of you and me, I understand, but I'm assuming it stayed at about $6.8 billion. So they could potentially sell at about $7 billion. Well, what if, just let's play what if, guys. What if Tony Khan, Shad Khan showed up to the fucking negotiating table with $8 billion and said, we don't even want to talk. Let's just make the deal. $8 billion. So you're getting $1 billion more dollars. Let's just say, just for fuck's sake, right? Does Nick Khan now say, well, Vince doesn't want to do business with you. I'll let him know, but don't count on anything. Does Nick go back to Vince and say, hey, man, we got an extra $1.2 billion on the table? And Vince says, no. Now get him out now. Put him to the fires. No, I don't think Vince does that, does he? Does he walk away from an extra $1 billion? Well, if he wants the fucking power, yeah. right? If he wants to remain in power, then he just wants a straight NBC Universal type deal with some investors. That way, Vince makes all the fucking money, and he gets to still stay in the power role, because NBC Universal, or Warner Discovery even, wouldn't want to run this shit. They would put Vince at the head of the vehicle, right? He'd be in the driver's seat. So if he wants power, then yeah, possibly he would give up $1 billion fucking dollars, right? Infinity for the power. We've seen his power moves just to be the playmaker, the shot caller that he is today back in WWE, moving mountains, literally moving human beings off of the shareholder list, off the board, just so him and his cronies can go back. He's shown what he will do for power. But if somebody offers $8 billion, how do you shut that out? It's a lot of dough, man. So it sounds like Tony Khan knows that they might not even want them to be in the conversation. I don't think Triple H cares for Tony Khan at all. I don't think Vince sees it one way. He could take Shad Khan or leave him, and probably leave him more than anything. I don't know if Vince and Triple H, Paul Levesque, are going to want to do business with the Khans, but that is what Tony is saying, man. I don't know exactly what will happen with the sale, he says. This is a quote from Tony Khan. I've been told, and I think they've said publicly, that there may be a sale process. If there is a sale process, certainly I am interested in it and potentially being involved in it. We'll have to see what that process is and who exactly they'll get involved in it. Certainly, I'm interested in it very much. So this dude's telling you he wants in on that, man. He wants in on the fucking sale. He knows his pop is worth over $12 billion. Now, I'm going to have to break down. I know some of you guys in the fucking chat might not know what the fuck we're even... The numbers are fucking making you... They're giving you a migraine. Well, try to keep up. When you make a sale for like a WWE for $6.8 billion, guys, that doesn't mean you're just going to your bank account and you're getting $6.8 billion. That's not how this works. For instance, if when Elon Musk bought Twitter, right, he didn't just reach into his... how much was Twitter purchased for, guys? How much, does anybody know how much Elon Musk purchased Twitter for? Well, somebody in the chat can find that out for BC and for all of us. In the billions, I'm guessing, right? In the billions. So he didn't just go to his bank account and hit up all of these billions of dollars that were just sitting there because Elon at the time was the richest man in the world. That's not how this works. 44 billion. Jer9 and a few others are telling me. Thank you. Majin, thank you. War Dog, $44 billion, right? So let me explain how this works. We understand he's one of, if not the richest man in the world. We get it. Elon didn't just go to his bank account and take out he didn't just withdraw $44 billion that was sitting there. If you guys do some homework, you would be mind-boggled as to how Elon had to buy Twitter. He had to literally borrow and get loans and get investors from 47 other entities and conglomerates. No joke. Banks, other equities, other investors, other conglomerates had to come together to give Elon that money. Just because you have a tag that says you're worth all of that money doesn't mean it's sitting in your bank account, guys. So if you guys ever do the research, it might give you a headache, but it'll be interesting. It was so interesting to see and hear how Elon Musk purchased Twitter, because he didn't have all that money, actually, even though he's worth it. Same thing here. Shad Khan is worth, $12 to $13 billion supposedly, even though it doesn't work that way, as we just went over. Now, a lot of people think, if Shad's worth $12.3 billion and he purchases WWE for, say, $7 billion, right? Its current value is $6.8 billion. Say he purchases for 7.3, let's say. Let's make it an even 7.3. So a lot of people think that 7.3 gets off of his 12.3 worth value. So now people are thinking that Shad Khan is now only worth $5 billion. That's not how this works. First of all, he got that from a lot of other conglomerates and entities, all right? He's now in debt to them. He's now got loans himself, even though he's a billionaire. Billionaires also have loans, guys, and debts that they have. So first of all, a lot of that's not even going to be his own money up front. Second of all, he just inherited a company worth $7 billion. I doubt he's going to buy it just to sit at $7 billion or watch it drop in value. Shad Khan is going to want to try to get that to $14-15 billion by the end of 5 years, right? His worth. That was at 12.3. He wants his worth to be up to 15, which would mean WWE would then go to what, $9 billion by the end of 4 or 5 years from now. That's a lot of money. Shad Khan just got even richer by playing the long game. I hope you guys understand. That's a lot of billionaire talk, $1 billion on the line when you're Shad Khan and Vince McMahon and WWE and the owner of the Jaguars. That's the type of game that they play, right? It's like they're playing with Monopoly money. For us, it's a fucking fortune. But that's how this would work. He would get his own type of investors or loan dealers to help him out. He would purchase WWE if they allowed him to, and then he would try to reap the benefits over the long term. And hopefully, that company that he buys that's worth $6.8 billion that he bought for $7.3, hopefully by the end of a few years, that'll be up to $9 billion if he does business correctly. If he's a bad businessman, that could drop to $3 billion, and now that becomes a shitty investment. So that's the deal, man. That's the deal with Nick Khan selling on behalf of Vince McMahon and WWE to the Khans, Tony and Shad. Now, if they are involved, they're going to be one of the heavy hitters, guys. There's no way that Shad Khan and Tony Khan are going to go to the negotiating table with Nick Khan. If you guys don't know anything about Tony and Shad, they don't like to lose at shit. And Shad Khan's become even more like Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He is all about winning lately. Something has gotten into Shad Khan, Tony Khan's father. Because this guy is he wants that Super Bowl. Look at the roster that he assembled. Listen to what he's been saying at the Super Bowl. Like, this is just the start. I want the fucking Super Bowl. I want many rings. This is a different Shad Khan. Totally different guy. And when he was asked about purchasing WWE several times at the Super Bowl, we heard that Shad Khan said, "I'm all in. Let me come to the table." That's what he said. Isn't it funny how here we are, or Super Bowl, what was it, the last playoff game they were in. Sorry, guys. Super Bowl is next week, and they ain't in it, unfortunately. But trust me, Shad Khan says this is just the beginning. He's going to assemble a more dominant roster. And then at the Super Bowl, don't be shocked if you see the Jaguars there. But not only is his team not there, my Packers aren't there either. It's the fucking Eagles and the Chiefs. I don't know if that's any of your team, but good luck if so. But that playoff game, he was telling everybody, let me go to the table, I'm in. And this is exactly what Tony Khan is now saying, uttering the same words. If they bring us to the fucking table, of course, we're not just interested, we're very much interested. That was his words. So Shad Khan is now there's this new mojo in Shad Khan. And there's just no stopping this dude. And if he wants it, he's going to purchase WWE if they let him go. Now, will they let him to the table? That's the thing that I think Tony knows they're not going to allow. I think Tony knows that, probably told Shad, so it's the breaks. But Tony and Shad are just saying, let us be a part of the process. Let us negotiate. Let us talk. And if you have Tony and Shad, man, how the fuck are they going to get outbid? They know the value of 6.8, guys. Guys, damn, I love numbers, and I love talking about this. Sorry, not sorry if this is giving you guys headaches because it's so much numbers, but I love this type of shit. If they go up to the fucking negotiating table, and they know WWE is worth 6.8 up front, so they're going to have to spend about $7 billion. For them to go to negotiate, don't you think that they're willing to spend the fucking $7 billion? Wouldn't that be clear as day? Do you really think they're going to sit there and just be outbid by NBC Universal, who's going to what, do 7-1? Do you think Shad's not going to make it an auction at that point? 7-2. NBC Universal says 7-3. 7-4. Do I hear 7-5, 7-6? We're going to 7-7. Do I hear 7-8, 7-8? 7-8 going once, going twice. 7-9, 7-9, 7-9 going once, going twice, going through. We got to set those. 8-8, 8-1, 8-2, 8-3 sold to Shad Khan and Tony Khan. It's going to happen. It'll turn into an auction. I don't see with this new attitude that Shad Khan has. With this way that Tony Khan it's like fucking toys to him, and how he plays with his fucking dad's money. I don't see how they're going to walk away as the losers if they're invited to the table. Again, will they be invited to the table? It sounds like Tony is saying Vince wants nothing to do with them. Paul Levesque, Tony Khan has come out before and say that he doesn't like how Paul Levesque has treated him in the past. Things that he's heard in the behind the scenes in the locker room, and things that he said on TV. Not just a pissant t-shirt company or anything like that even, but stuff afterwards where talent has gone to AEW and told him, things that Paul Levesque said about Tony Khan. So Tony Khan there's no love lost with H, but he's willing. 2 days ago, he said he's willing to work with them. He would love the opportunity. He just doesn't think that they're going to. He would love the opportunity to potentially buy WWE. He just doesn't think they want to play ball. It sounds like Tony Khan has good intel. Tony Khan has people that has told him from within WWE that they want nothing to do with AEW. It sounds like Tony knows this for a fact, but when this comes down to business, and if Vince truly came back to help out the best deal possible for the shareholders, and if Shad is offering fucking 7.5, which would be the highest bid, you gotta believe, then you would have to sell to AEW boss Tony Khan and his father, the actual founder of it all, Shad Khan. You would have to sell, right? Can they coexist? Would Tony and Shad keep Paul Levesque in power? Would Paul Levesque want to answer to Shad and Tony Khan? Would Vince McMahon want anything to do with them if that sale was to go through? Can they coexist? Isn't that funny, right? One of the big storylines of all time in WWE or any pro wrestling. The can they coexist storyline. Wouldn't it be fucking ironic, man? How fitting would it be if the ultimate storyline was, can Paul Levesque and Tony Khan coexist? That was a lot of numbers talk. I wanted to only keep you guys here for a half an hour. I know I've been gone. I've been in California for the past 5 days on a lot of business, and there's a lot more traveling still to go in February. And I gave you guys 21 minutes of notice for this fucking live stream. Most of you guys are going to catch this afterwards. I wanted this to go a half an hour. But, dude, you get me start talking about money and the negotiating and the numbers and the statistics and the metrics, and that will be a half an hour in itself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that talk. That's a lot of chatter, guys, that it might seem like we're in la-la land, fantasy land. It's never going to happen. But, guys, it's actually happening, right? The sale process is happening as we speak. It's just about if Tony and Shad are going to be allowed to the table. And Shad has already said at the last Jaguars game, and Tony Khan is now telling you by that paragraph that I've read 4 times now, he is telling you we're not just interested, we are very much interested, and we very much want to be a part of this process. Tony and Shad Khan want in on this WWE sale. This is not speculation. This is them confirming it now. WWE allow it. And if they're allowed to the table, guys, I don't know many people that are going to outbid them. Not that they can't. I just don't know who's going to outbid them. I think Shad and Tony are in a spot in their life right now where they're willing to just fucking collect W's. They just want to win. They're going to go to the negotiate meeting. They're going to fucking win. They're going to win. Will they be allowed to the fucking table? So this may seem like speculative talk. Guys, this is what's going on now. This is why Tony has to talk about it. This is why Shad Khan is up in his press box at the last Jaguars game talking about the WWE sale. Because this is happening. It's just about if they're going to be allowed to discuss this shit. And you know what? Even though I understand this was on short notice, but for the crowd that is in here now, if I may, I'm going to put up a poll right now, man. And whoever's up in here now, can Triple H and Tony Khan coexist? Double question mark. I'm going to ask you guys, please, man. Can Triple H and Tony Khan coexist? That'll enter your chat in the next about, I would say, 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. If you guys will please vote. It should be in a blue box. And the question is, again, can Triple H and Tony Khan coexist? I'm interested to see if you guys think that if a purchase is able to be met, would Paul Levesque stay on board and work with Tony somehow? Would that be a dream team? Is that the one thing that Tony Khan's missing? And is Paul missing maybe somebody more like Tony and not Vince? I don't know. Can they coexist? Currently, we're headed toward 100 votes. We have over 80 in already. 40 say yes, actually. 50 say no, and that's actually getting smaller. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to let that up for another minute, actually. That's closer than I thought, actually, man. Would Tony Khan compliment Triple H? Would Triple H compliment Tony Khan, even though they started a little bit against one another? Would they fit well together? Would that actually be best for business, maybe? Or would this just be horrible? They would just be fucking brawling backstage. I appreciate that, man. Over 100 votes, even though this was on 21 minutes of notice in the middle of a Monday afternoon. And BC's been gone for 5 days over in California, man. Over 100 votes. 58% currently say no, they cannot coexist. 42% say yes, they actually can coexist. Interesting, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll up over 100 votes. I'm going to give it fucking 10 more seconds. Final votes now, man. Final 10 on this, man, on this vote. Click now, man. Click now if you're up in the chat. 58% currently say no. 42% say yes. And we are closing that shit down right now. 58% say no, they cannot coexist. I got to be honest with you guys. 42%, bro. On the up column saying yes, I think they would actually work well together or complement or could do really good business if they pull their heads out of their own asses. But 58% say, nah, bro, I just don't see it. And I don't think that Vince H and Nick Khan would even bring Tony and Shad in for a conversation. But again, I will just say this last thing on it for now, guys. If Shad and Tony put feelers out to WWE and say, hey, we're offering closer to $8 billion, which is absurd, no question. Absurd to spend $8 billion on a company that is currently worth 6.8. But if that was to happen, wow. How do you turn that down? You'd have to say, all right, prepare 2 extra plates. They're coming to dinner. Tony and Shad have to fucking be invited to the table. They're offering $1.2 billion fucking dollars more. I don't see how you turn that. That's just horrible business. And if that's the case, Vince McMahon needs to be fucking out at the earliest possible fucking rate. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's all in the air. But as of now, guys, Tony's latest comments, I'm not going to reread them for a 6th time. Tony Khan and Shad Khan both saying they're very much interested. They want in on the negotiations. They just don't think that Vince is going to allow them to sit at the table and negotiate with them. So we'll see. That's the big storyline, guys. BC's been away for 5 days over in California, and that's just been a story that's kind of been taking kind of a course of its own. And literally just about half an hour before we went live, that became the big story because Tony Khan is now doubling to tripling down, saying, I want in on the fucking talks. Let's fucking talk. You're selling. We got the money. We want to negotiate. Salute unit. Everybody up in here, by the way, man. Big time. Yeah, 4th one. Yeah, 7.5 at the most. No question. Carlos Ray's up in here. What up, Carlos? Marie's up in here, too. Osia Weidman. All right. So as we went on this half an hour, we got some of our tried and trues back in. All right. Sorry, not sorry, guys. If you're just tuning in, my tried and trues. Been in California 5 days. A lot of business and a lot more business in February. But I wanted to make a stream or put out a stream at the earliest possible point, and this is it, man. So I could only give you guys 21 minutes notice. So here we are. But I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes as well, guys, and talk some AEW Dynamite and WWE SmackDown ratings, if you don't mind. And the cool thing with this, guys, is I did not scope them yet. So we're going to find out together what those were. Let's start with AEW. You guys by now already know what it was because that was on Wednesday. Those came out last Thursday. So a few days ago. AEW, last I knew, 2 weeks ago with the Jay Briscoe tribute show, pulled just over 1 million viewers. Literally a couple thousand more than 1 million. So last week, I'm guessing it was about 9. I know they went down because they can't stay consistent. I'm going to say about 950 where they usually are. They're usually between 850 and 950. They've been at the high end of 950. And AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday pulled in 901,000 even. Wow. A low end of 9, man. They were 1,000 viewers away from being into the 800s. Wow. Guys, I did not catch. Why was did anybody watch AEW Dynamite, and why did they lose over 100,000 viewers from the Briscoe show? Why were they at the middle ground of their normal point? Why were they so far from that mill? What happened on the show? Was it lackluster? Was it a poor main event? Did anybody see? JR9 Gaming says Joe won the TNT title. What? Then why would Joe fucking lose the title a month ago? What was this, a Darby Quick World Tour before he... What are we playing, hot potato? King says Dynamite Rampage was actually good shit. So not sure why they pulled only a 900,000 even. Wardlow returned after the match to feud with Joe again. What the fuck? Didn't just last month Wardlow or fucking Samoa Joe won the title? Or was that when Darby won the title? No, Samoa won it, and then he clipped the hair of Wardlow, and then Wardlow fucking went MIA. Darby wins the shit. So what? We're just gonna... Is Wardlow booked any different this past Wednesday, or is it still I'm big bad Wardlow, but he's still booked 50-50? Pile Driver, the show was not great from a booking perspective. It was not that much of a draw. So I'm guessing they had good wrestling matches. Crazy Country Boy says, I heard Joe was injured for a while, so maybe that's why he hot potatoed it back. Should have never fucking... Wardlow should have never had it either. Wardlow should have been going for world titles and being one of the biggest beasts in AEW and not fucking around with a mid-card title. But same with WWE. Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley, the guys that are supposed to be main eventers, can't fucking buy a fucking championship in WWE with the mid-card title. They're always getting an opportunity to get the U.S. title from fucking Austin Theory. This is what happens when you hog up both world titles. The U.S. title is not looking prestigious. It's looking like a fucking clown show. It's the same people trying to get this title for a year now. Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, Theory. These mid-card titles, they're there for a reason. Let them fucking take on a life of their own and let people manifest from them. Darby said that he has plans for movies he's going to be working on, says War Dog. So Darby wants to make movies. So this is just hotshot booking, just on the fly then, man. Joe, you win the title. Wardlow, you go away for a minute. Darby, you're going to win the title. Shit, Joe's a little injured. No, Joe, you get the title back. No, wait, somebody said Joe is injured. Crazy Country. So why would Joe get the title back? I don't even know what's happening, man. This is what happens when there's hot potato. JR9 says only the in-ring promo time was given to the Acclaimed and the Guns. Yeah, wow. I did not expect them to be that low into the 901,000 guys. If they were 1,000 viewers less, they'd be into the 800s after 1 million viewing with the Jay Briscoe tribute show. Let me just make sure that... Okay, from what I'm seeing is it was just an NBA game that was above them. So no real competition. Just the NBA, guys. All right, well, like I said, man, I'm learning this in real time. I can't believe AEW only pulled 900 straight, 901,000. That's been their problem. They just can't remain consistent, and sometimes they just go through big fucking drop-offs. So fucking odd. Let's go over to WWE, see what they pulled. SmackDown this past Friday. SmackDown, a 2.3. And it looks to be adjusted later today to a 2.352. Fucking around with possibly a 2.4. They've been the show in the wrestling world, man. SmackDown has been pulling its weight, pulling Raw's weight, pulling Dynamite's weight, pulling Impact's weight, pulling New Japan's weight, pulling the local bingo hall down the fucking block's weight. Any wrestling pro, SmackDown right now is carrying that shit on their back. Another 2.3 with a readjustment that should be around 2.4, we're believing. That is a pretty big rating. That is their post-Royal Rumble show, by the way. So they've been hovering around that 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 area. I remember when John Cena was up there, man. That show pulled, what, 2.6? So they're remaining consistent on that 2.3, and that the readjustment guy should be around 2.4. Now, what I saw from Dynamite, because again, I was in California, there's a whole time difference of 3 fucking hours. You would be amazed at how they do things in California. But from what I saw, man, that the main event segment with Sami Zayn and calling out Roman Reigns, and Reigns comes down, but man, he had to have known the Bloodline was there, the Usos, or at least Jimmy anyway, with Solo Sikoa, and they did a number on Sami Zayn. And then Roman stops Solo from ending Sami and says, all right, you want me? Let's do it then, Elimination Chamber. I want to embarrass you in front of the loved ones, the family, the friends, all of that good stuff. Let's do it in Montreal. So we knew that was going to happen anyway. Loved it, guys. Loved it. The only thing it was missing, I mean, we all kind of were concerned that at the Royal Rumble was going to be the end of the good storytelling. What we saw on Friday was we're getting a continuation of the really good storytelling. That's the good news. I wish Roman at least had Solo and Jimmy beat him down some more after he made the announcement. After that, he kind of just walked away, and they walked away and said, or I think they just posed to the hard cam, the A slot. And then fucking Sami was just like fully awake at that point, like, oh man, what did I get myself into? I wish there was a little bit more of a beating while Roman hoisted the championship up to the hard cam, right? Leading up to Montreal, man, the numbers game is so... How the fuck is Sami even going to have a chance? We know that Sami's most likely not walking away with a championship at Elimination Chamber, but fuck, how is he even going to have a chance? Now, I know. Now, you guys can say, well, that's the thing, BC. He wanted Sami to get a taste. And from here on out, just remember, Elimination Chamber, that's going to be the whole fucking buffet. But, man, I just felt it was so great Friday night. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of ended there with Roman saying, I want you. I want to put my title on the line with you. I want it to be in your hometown. Let's go, boys. Stop beating him up. You know what I mean? I wanted to see a little bit more of a whoop down on fucking Sami. I wanted to really feel for that dude on another level, kind of like Royal Rumble. Yeah, War Dog says they got to save that for Mania, but he's not facing Sami at Mania. Mania is going to be Cody Rhodes, War Dog. Cody Rhodes versus Roman. That's why we're doing this at Elimination Chamber. Unless you're saying we'll have a part 2 on the first night of WrestleMania, and we're going to run it back and do Sami and Roman again. Possibly. I just don't see how that would... I don't see how that would manifest itself. And don't forget, Stone Cold has been offered a boatload of money to take on Roman. Is that for one of the Mania nights to fill in for The Rock? Or is that going to be for Saudi? Austin gets $1 million, Roman gets his $1 million. We don't know, guys. We know that for a fact Stone Cold got a chunk of fucking cash coming up to take on Roman. We just don't know the event. Yeah, War Dog, you could be right, man. Sami and Roman run it back at Mania. But all we know now is it's for the Chamber. And for Roman just to let up on Sami that easily on Friday. Sami's totally coherent, eyes are open, he's got his hands on the rope like he wants to get up. And Roman's just like, all right, I'm going to let you go now. In a few weeks. You know, I say, why let it up? Keep whopping him, man. You know, keep fucking taking... That was the one thing it was missing, man. Like that level of emotion, if Sami just gets the ass whipping again, it's kind of like, wow, what is Sami going to be able to do? I don't even know if Kevin Owens helping him again is going to help this dude. And then it gets you thinking, like, at Elimination Chamber, Sami has to have more up his sleeve. Because the numbers game is just too much. We've been seeing it every fucking week on SmackDown. And we only have fucking, 2 SmackDowns left? Friday night, and then next week, that's it. Guys, next Friday is the go-home show. Isn't that crazy? We just went through the Royal Rumble. Next Friday night is the go-home show to the Elimination Chamber. So SmackDown pulling a 2.4. I gotta believe that was the hierarchy point, right? The beginning of the show and that end. JR9, or anybody in the chat that watched the full SmackDown, man, because again, BC was in California on business. I wasn't able to watch these shows live. Was there a continuing storyline with the Bloodline leading up to that final segment? Did they keep going backstage? You know, I love when there's an actual storyline throughout the show and then it culminates at the finish. Were they doing that on Friday night? Maybe that's what pulled in a good 2.4 nearly. JR9 says, yeah, Roman asked Jimmy and Solo to find Jay. Okay. And they never did because I didn't see Jay in the final segment. Did anybody find Jay at that point or no? Yeah, Sontivia major because they're fucking shit in the bed again. Obviously, that should be at another event. You know, the standalones have to stop. The Money in the Banks, the Hell in a Cells, all of that, man. It lost its luster. What made it special is gone. Now, Triple H has said that the Elimination Chamber, you can build that around in its own event. But if there's nothing really on the line of substance, it devalues it. Just throwing the Raw Women's Championship in there devalues it, in my humble opinion. And on top of that, just throwing the U.S. Championship in it is just, it's devaluing. In fact, the Raw Women's Championship isn't even on the line. It's just to set up whoever's going to go on to WrestleMania to take on Bianca, which is obviously going to be Raquel when it should be Asuka Kana. So that's going to be a botch. Jay versus Roman at one night and Cody versus Roman the other night. Yeah, man, Jay versus Roman would be fun. Jay versus Jimmy, you could run that back again as well. Marco and a lot of you guys said, no, they didn't find Jay. Okay, so there's a continuing storyline. Jay Uso is still trying to fucking scatter all of this about, man. Is he Bloodline? Is he gonna fucking go with his honorary Us? I love it. There's still a lot of layers for this storyline to sink our teeth into, and should be interesting going into Elimination Chamber. I mean, this is the best scenario for WrestleMania. There's so many layers to this storyline so far. Switching Jay completely helped this storyline tenfold, man. Big time. So, okay, yeah, so I'll have to do a lot more due diligence on this past week's SmackDown to see how they pulled a 2.4, because that's really good. SmackDown this week pulling, once it's readjusted later today, we believe it's going to pull around a 2.4 mil. And Dynamite's rating somehow lost 100,000 plus, and they are hanging on to 900,000 viewers. So one show went backwards, another one stayed the same, and we'll see what Monday Night Raw can produce later today. Now, guys, I also want to send a salute over to the Poffo family. Lanny Poffo passed away a few days ago, man, right when I went over to California. Maybe it was a day later, something like that, or 2 days. But once I found out Lanny Poffo, man, that was just a bummer because my favorite dude in this industry, one of anyway, the top guys, Macho Man Randy Savage. And his brother was Lanny Poffo. Now, growing up, people like BC, we remember him as the genius. That's why I call him an icon. A lot of people, you know, they shake their head at, oh, BC, we got to be careful who we call an icon. Everybody's an icon these days. Everybody's a legend. I totally agree, right? We throw that word around too often. To BC, the genius was an icon. The genius was just one of those characters that, as a kid anyway, growing up, you just latched on. You will always remember the genius in his poems and bashing somebody over the dome piece with his fucking poems and that steel fucking slate, tagging up with the Macho Man, wrestling Hulk Hogan. Lanny Poffo, there was nobody like this dude, man. There was nobody like the genius. And when I found out that he was the brother of Macho, it just made sense. They were captivating, man. I believe he was about 68, 69 years old, I want to say. Or he was going to be 69 if he wasn't already. Congestive heart failure is what I am hearing. If you guys know more about it, again, I was away. I can't say this enough. There was a lot that I missed out on this week, news-wise. So I have to do more due diligence on this, but I believe it was congestive heart failure. And Lanny Poffo taken from us, joining his brother, the Macho Man, up high. So, yeah, thank you guys, man, for those salutes and prayers over to the Poffo family. So that's the brothers, man. Macho Man Randy Savage, Lanny Poffo, the famous Poffo family. Their pops, vicious dude, man. He was badass to the core, amplified, approved. So I had to say, or at least give a salute over to Lanny Poffo as well. That was one of those bummer type things, man. And before I take off too, man. One more thing that I wanted to talk about up front. Let me see if I can get it up onto the big screen here, because that's all right. So as it pertains to the Punk incident, man, Jake Hager, AEW superstar Jake Hager, is the latest to come right out and say CM Punk is just not great for the locker room. Jake Hager is the latest. There is a list of people not happy about Punk. So for those of you guys that thought this was a storyline, I think we could put that to bed to now. You know what I mean? I'm sure the storyline wouldn't just call for Punk to just get shit on by everything and everyone. Faces, heels, people that don't even have a fucking storyline with them, like WWE and Seth Rollins. I mean, it's not just National Take a Shit on Phil Brooks Day every day. This is what Jake Hager recently said about CM Punk and the whole situation at the All Out Media Scrum and just how it developed. Jake Hager, AEW star, says, "I'm sure I can elaborate on it, but I don't really want to. Who knows how animosity builds and how lack of communication leads to certain things? I think it all stems from how you view things. Obviously, one person in that party was viewing things so negatively, and I don't think he was correct." Obviously, he was alluding not to the Bucks, not to Kenny Omega or anyone else, not even to Larry the Dog. He's alluding to Phil Brooks, CM Punk. Jake Hager says, "Who knows how animosity builds and how lack of communication can lead to certain things." Hager says, "I think it all stems from how you view things. Obviously, one person in that party was viewing things so negatively, and I just don't think he was correct." So a lot of people just don't like how Punk went about his business backstage, and we're starting to see a lot more wrestlers kind of speak on it. I think the more that speak about it, the more they feel comfortable. They don't want to elaborate, because you never say never in wrestling, and they could have to fucking brush shoulders with Phil Brooks in the future. Who knows? That wouldn't be good for Brooks or the business, because Brooks just needs time off. He just needs to find his smile again, like Shawn Michaels many years ago. Get his body right, get his mind right. I don't think Phil Brooks enjoys professional wrestling anymore, and I think that's why he instantly gets miserable around it. And that's what Hager is saying, and so many others. They say, dude, we saw this dude, and it's just, Hager is saying, like a lot of others, it just seems like it built up, and it just built up, and it built up, and there was no communication, and Phil Brooks just went AWOL again, just snapped, and just went business for himself, right? As Brooks said, "I'm trying to run a business here," he accidentally said at the media scrum, even though Tony's looking at him like, "You're trying to run the business. I'm running the fucking business." So Jake Hager is the latest one. Now, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but that's one of Jericho's cronies, BC. Of course he's going to take Jericho's side. Well, guys, I got a newsflash for you. Jericho is the leader in AEW's locker room. He's the head guy. Over Mox, over Bryan Danielson. Even over the EVPs, from what I've heard. Chris Jericho is the locker room leader. So he's got the ear and the attention of everybody in the locker room, guys. He's the head guy for a reason. They respect him the most, obviously. That didn't just happen after Phil Brooks and this incident happened and he got Das Boot and all of a sudden Jericho is the leader. That didn't happen overnight or just for any reason. It happened for a major reason, because the way things were running with Phil Brooks, It was like a poison in the locker room. And it all came to a head at the All Out event. And once the incident happened, everybody knew a change needed to happen. And that's how Chris Jericho went up there. Now, you guys may not like Chris Jericho. You may think it's too political. You may think it's not fair to CM Punk. I get it. But that's how the AEW locker room is structured right now. Chris Jericho is the lead guy. Jericho has never liked Phil Brooks, guys. He's always had animosity toward him. And when Phil Brooks didn't want to do his podcast after the whole WWE fallout, Jericho looked at that as a slight. Because Brooks literally 3 different times threw shade at Jericho even asking him to try to get just for more views to get on his fucking podcast. That's why he chose his friend at the time, Colt Cabana. And Jericho never forgot that. Jericho never liked him, man. Was Jericho just waiting for his moment? I don't know if that's the case. I think Jericho saw what everybody else was seeing, man. Something is not right here. Brooks is not happy. He's making us miserable. And it all came to a head, and Jericho the next day is the locker room leader. That's not by accident, guys. So even if Punk was to ever come back to AEW, which again, I don't think that's best for him or AEW or pro wrestling. I really don't. But Jericho would have to be in on those talks. And he would have to be, man. Yeah, guys. Yeah, you guys know exactly how Jericho is. You guys know exactly how Jericho is, man. If Tony Khan in passing goes, oh, by the way, we're bringing Phil back, I don't think Jericho's going to be like, oh, okay, see you at catering later. No, he's going to be like, what? Tony, you just made the list. Jericho be ripped, bro. Jericho's going to have a discussion. Jericho's going to be like, oh, hell no. If he comes back, these are the new fucking rules. But that's what I mean, guys. For those that think that Brooks is coming back or this was all a storyline, I hope you realize this is nowhere near a storyline. This is very real. Jericho and a lot of that locker room doesn't like Phillip Brooks. So if he comes back, if you're an AEW fan, I don't understand how you will be in love with that decision. You think he's just going to come back with a bigger smile than ever before? You don't think that's going to be forced beyond fucking Roman Reigns' push back in the day or Charlie Flair's today? Nobody wants to show up to work and force a fucking smile, but we all do it. This guy's got money. He doesn't need to do that. I don't see Phil Brooks being a fake to that point. Maybe. Maybe. That's another level of being fake, though. Showing up and fucking acting like now all of a sudden you're best friends with everybody. And then what? He gets injured fucking 2 matches into his new deal? You just made the list! I used to do that really fucking good when he had that fucking list. So I don't understand what people are expecting. And now you have more wrestlers. Jake Hager is just the latest. Saying he thinks that it was just built over and all this negative fucking energy and negative way to view things. And lack of communication. And it all came to a head. And he says he does not think he was correct. He doesn't. Everybody's got their own side of the story. And he feels that Brooks was not correct. Again, yeah, you could say he's Jericho's crony or whatever, but that's the majority of the locker room, guys. Because Chris Jericho that's his locker room now. There's no, we understand that Mox has a big fucking say in it, and Bryan Danielson, right? But the majority of that locker room, the leader is Chris Jericho, and that's a lot of things are going to have to go through him now. What is this? What is this, man? Before I go over, there was a couple of super chats I want to, and then I'll take it. This was only supposed to go a half an hour. It went an hour. I should have known that. You guys should have known that too, by the way. What the fuck is this? This coming across, man? Struck Reigns in the Shivani. Shivani says about the angle at the Royal Rumble between Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. The angle, I liked it, Shivani says. It was very well done. Good drama. And then one of the Usos walks away. Very, very good drama, he says. But he says that it went too long. Tony Schiavone, negative, buddy. That Royal Rumble final segment did not go too long. It was absolute edge of your seat drama. It was the best storytelling I've seen in years, if not ever. I really have to think long and hard about it, and it would be top 3 bare minimum, possibly the best story I've ever seen told at the Royal Rumble. So I absolutely disagree with Tony Schiavone. Did it go long? No doubt. Was it too long at the Royal Rumble? No, I don't feel that's correct at all. So that's his opinion. I like Tony Schiavone a lot. Tony Schiavone still has it. You still got it. But I absolutely think he is wrong on that, man. I don't feel that went too long at all. And if it went another 10 minutes, BC would have been down with it. And that's, yeah. I think that's it for now, guys. If I start another story, we're going to go over an hour. And as I said, we got a lot of unpacking to do, schedule some more biz, and then we got to fucking pack right back up for next week. It just doesn't end, man. There's so much to do, a lot to get to. But, Unit, I appreciate this, man. I really do. I know I wasn't able to do a SmackDown review, and that sucks. I really did try to do an audio only, but we had to go down the coast. It was just too much travel. But I will absolutely be doing a Raw review for tomorrow, or tonight's review tomorrow. Hopefully we can even do that live. That'd be really cool. So we got a whole week of content rocking out this week, man. We are back, and we are rocking, and I wanted to at least give you guys a half an hour of content, and it looks like we're about to do a whole hour. So I appreciate the hundreds that were able to catch this live throughout the hour, whether you stayed for the whole thing, came in and out, or just were able to check out 10 or 15 minutes. I appreciate the hundreds live. For the thousands of you that are going to catch this later, I understand it was 21 minutes notice. It was the middle of a Monday, and I've been out for 5 days. I get it. But the majority of you guys are catching this after we were live. So don't worry, you're part of the majority. I still appreciate you guys catching it, even though it's not live for you. And I still appreciate you guys smacking that fucking up. We're about to hit 200 live. So that's that, man. Much love. Marie, right back to you, Marie. Missed you guys as well, man, even though it's been only just a few days. But yeah, I wanted to do that SmackDown review. That sucks that I wasn't able to catch it. Oh, hold on. Before I check out too, man, there was a couple of supers. I definitely want to make sure that I get you guys in. Hold on. Where was it? I got it. Big screen. There it is. 2-spot Justin Jones says B plus C equals amplify. Basic mathematics. Salute, Justin Jones. You don't even need to do Steiner math for that shit. Justin Jones, man. Good seeing you up in here. And Justin Jones, if you don't mind, let me give you a personal salute. Salute, Justin Jones. Justin Jones. Sounds like a fucking, like a Pro Bowler in the fucking Pro Bowl, man. Sounds like a future NFL superstar. Going to the 10, the 5, touchdown, Justin Jones. Richie P, gold status. Richie P, 5-spot coffee. Richie P, how you doing, man? Richie P. Now, Justin Jones sounds like a fucking, like an NFL star. Richie P sounds like a badass rapper, man. You down with OPP? You know Richie P. Richie P. What up, brother? The coffee's kicking in, man. I got a bunch of coffees at once. What can I say? Richie P says, I didn't see a photo at the start of SmackDown to honor Lanny Poffo, who passed away on Thursday. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Now, see what I mean? Now, I caught this later than everybody. JR9 Gaming or anybody in the chat. Lanny Poffo, when he passed away, was it like Thursday evening? So by Friday, he could have had a graphic? Or did they have a graphic and maybe Richie P and others didn't see it? Did Lanny Poffo's graphic or any mention of him happen on SmackDown? I didn't see a graphic. Nobody saw a graphic. And he passed away on Thursday, right? Not Friday? Because that's a big difference as well. Well, actually, even if it was Friday afternoon, WWE can easily come up with a fucking graphic, guys. Michael Cole mentioned it. Okay, but there was no graphic. They showed him speaking at the Hall of Fame, says Robert. Oh, so there was some type of video for it. I didn't see one, but he was mentioned, said Jay. Blicky says Cole did mention it. Okay. Well, I don't know why hopefully there's a graphic today, man. Maybe there was just a botch. Yeah, I mean, Lanny Poffo was a big part of our fucking childhoods for sure. A lot of us. A big part of wrestling history, even though he wasn't there for years and years. He played a major role in a lot of stories, guys, in managing and wrestling. He deserves a graphic on SmackDown and on Monday Night Raw tonight. Huh. Thank you for telling me that, Richie P, because I'll be looking a little bit more closely tonight. JR9 Gaming, my right-hand man, with a couple of fucking 10 spots, man. JR9, I appreciate that, man. What a fucking week over in Cali. Missed you guys, man. I wanted to talk about so many stories. I was like, damn, man, I got to travel. JR9 says, Vengeance Day was pretty good. Roxy, Gigi, and JC delivered the best NXT women's title match since Io's reign in 2021. Damn, that's high praise, JR9. So proud of them for their 15-minute performance, which to me should have main evented. They know how to utilize their females, dude. From Triple H when he was Black and Gold NXT to Shawn Michaels now. They just put the females as a focal point. I don't know what the fuck it is and why everybody else can't learn from that. Yeah, but I have a lot. Unfortunately, I'm going to only be able to do the highlight package of Vengeance Day, JR9. But I actually heard nothing but positivity from it. Also, I got to say, JC is an incredible talent that has all the tools to be a future WrestleMania main eventer. Her imminent story versus Gigi and her solo run after it will be excellent. Easily my second favorite after Alba. Ooh, I don't know, JR9. The way you're speaking about JC, could she one day out edge Alba Fire? JR9, if you're in the chat still, man, can she out edge? Because you've been speaking really high of JC lately. JC could go after Alba for sure. That would be fucking legit. And I do agree, JR9, from what I've seen. And I've seen a lot of them because you have such high praise for them. So BC made it a point whenever I can to check them out. JC it's kind of, I'm not saying in the same league, but it's the same category, if I may, of what Jamie Hayter did over in AEW, where a lot of people just said, who the fuck is this C player? You know what I mean? This fucking wing woman for Britt Baker. And all of a sudden people saw out of nowhere, no, Jamie Hayter can fucking rock. Jamie Hayter can compete with the Britt Bakers and beyond. Same thing over in NXT. I think we're starting to see that JC may have been just a third wheel or a second wheel to a Mandy Rose in that faction. But if you step aside Mandy for a moment, you put the spotlight on a JC, she can rock. So it's kind of cool how you saw that with Hayter in AEW, and you're seeing it now with JC. Anyway, that's where my mind goes. JR9, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. Because there's no doubt JC's so good that she would have had that spotlight eventually, but you know damn well that Mandy would always overshadow the group for justified reasons. I totally get it. For many reasons, actually. It's Mandy Rose. But she's always going to overshadow. But now that she steps aside a little bit, now people are going, all right, fucking JC can go. She doesn't need to be a background player, man, like a fucking a Batista to an Evolution. They can be a lead character. Anyway. Yeah, and JR9, I will be checking out the highlight package on too, because I've actually heard from my people down in Florida that it was a good show. One of them actually got to view it live. And I'm not surprised at all, JR9, that the women fucking rocked it out of the park. I don't know what it is. Shawn Michaels does that perfectly. And it seems like even H, who was doing really good with the women in NXT Black and Gold, H doesn't even know what to do with them on the main roster. Tony Khan has been lost in AEW, and Shawn Michaels is just fucking toot, shows up to fucking work, opens his notepad, and he's like, all right, let's get the women rocking. Because I agree, HBK is doing it better than anybody in this business with the women. JR9, salute, man. So good to be back with you guys, dude. and rocking out the wrestling talk. I told you February is going to be a little shaky, guys. There's a lot of traveling. There's a lot of business that I just neglected in January, and we got to get it rocking. But you guys are going to get a lot of content still, man, whenever I can. Just so good to see you guys up in the chat, man. On 21 minutes of notice, like Jimmy Fingers 19519. Jimmy Fingers 19, dude. In the afternoon. Usually I see Jimmy Fingers 19 on the nightcaps. Lanny Poffo was at Uncle Elmer's wedding on the first Saturday night's main event. Bro, you're taking it back, dude. You're taking it back. BC recalls that shit. Every detail? No, Jimmy Fingers, but you and OG, you remember that shit. That's all I could think about, man, is all of those Saturday night's main events. The fucking Hulk Hogan confrontations. The fucking, his interactions with Macho Man. Mr. Perfect. All of those poems. I mean, back in the day, you never saw a character like the Genius. And when you found out that he was Macho Man's fucking brother, at first it made no sense. You didn't believe it. And then you started to say, yep, I got you. I see it. Jimmy Fingers 19, man. Good to see you on a day cap. And yeah, I really hope that they deliver an honorable fucking mention of Lanny Poffo tonight. A good fucking graphic. Man, it's so deserving. I know for a lot of you guys, he wasn't like a big time player to you. He didn't stay there for years. I get it. But man, if you grew up around that time, the Genius was a big time player. He may not have been going for titles every fucking month, which is a positive. You shouldn't be doing that. But he was such a main player, man. Yeah. All right, guys, I said a half an hour. It's over an hour. I'm going to let you guys rock out the rest of Monday. I know you got things to do before Monday Night Raw. BC, at some point tomorrow, will be back for the review, all 3 hours of Raw. And I would hope to do that live, maybe, if I can. But no matter what, you guys are getting a review. It sucks I couldn't do SmackDown's review, but we're rocking out now, man. This is a little bit of catching up type of a stream, and I thank you guys for... we were kind of all over the place with a lot of stories over the last 5 days, but it needed to be discussed, and we'll go into Monday Night Raw tonight. Guys, as of right now, there is only 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days away from the next pay-per-view. 12 days. After tonight, there's only one more Raw before Elimination Chamber. So next week is the go-home show. So you got a couple of minutes. You're going to sell us on the chamber matches and Roman and Sami. I totally get it. Well, now you got to kick it all into high gear tonight. I imagine you're going to get some fucking, some more, qualifiers, or we're going to see the participants take on each other on one-on-one matches, right? It's lazy booking. We already know that's going to happen tonight. But if they can get creative, that's all we're asking for. It's early in the afternoon-ish. Does anybody have any announcements for Monday Night Raw tonight? Did WWE announce anything yet, or is that going to come? Usually it's past 3 o'clock when they announce things. Is there any preview yet? And while you guys are telling me that, I think Dave Mealy just threw a coffee over to the channel. I think I just saw a coffee fucking go whizzing by. Yep, that was definitely a coffee that just got thrown over to the channel by Dave. Dave Mealy. I got to give you a salute before I read that, man. Good seeing you up in here. Dave, beyond one of my tried and true, says, I remember the Genius's poems used to always say, and I quote, I, the genius, full of glory and renown. R.I.P. Lanny Poffo. No doubt, Dave. I tried to do justice by the Genius in saying that, but it's hard to do the Genius. You know that. That's what made him one of a kind. Oh, man, that was great. I, the Genius, full of glory and renown. He was just so fucking elegant. And then you got the Macho Man. That was the polar opposite. Fucking lunatic, outraged, fucking bombastic. Fucking ballistic. Macho Man was just so wild, you never knew what he was saying in his promos, which is why I loved it. And then you see the Genius, and he's so fucking eloquent. Dave Mealy, no doubt. Good seeing you, Dave, up in here. Thank you for the coffee, dude. Never need it. Always appreciate it. Let me go back to see if anything was... Oh, yes, that's right. Becky and Bayley in the cage match. Now, do you guys think it actually happens tonight? Or are they going to do something again where, for some reason, it doesn't happen, right? Like Damage Control beats up Becky Lynch again, and the match is postponed again. Chat, put it up in the chat right now. Do you guys think this is going to happen? Or because WWE knows how pissed off people were 2 weeks ago for New York City's reunion show was supposed to be that cage match, and it didn't happen, and the crowd was vocal, like online, everybody was pissed off they didn't see the cage match. And WWE knows this. They like to fucking poke a little bit. Could they fuck around with everybody again, advertise it, and then pull the plug on it again? It could happen, guys. Carlos Ray says it does not happen. Thinks there's going to be a swerve. Jared9 says Bailey will be wearing a Seth t-shirt. Oh, yeah. Jared9, no doubt, bro. After last week when she said, what'd she say? The only reason Seth married you is because he knocked you up. That would be funny. Dante Jared23 says not happening. Sounds like something WWE would do, says Sir Charles. Jared Knight says goes on, but Bailey wins via escape in my prediction. So we'll see, man. Becky ambushed during the entrance, gets her hand stuck in the cage door, kicked in, no match, says Alex. Very detailed. That's what WWE creative needs, more detail. Big Time Baxter says BC SmackDown finals have already come out today. And it's 2.4 million or maybe 2.4. Yeah, did they actually get? We're expecting around 2.4, if not a little more than 2.4 for the readjustments. So we're going to see what they do. So we'll see tonight, guys, if the cage match. I'm just saying, don't be totally shocked if it doesn't happen. But we'll see. Hopefully it's good. BC will be with you guys tomorrow, and we'll rock it out. Unit! Salute, man. Thank you for tuning in. Over an hour. I wanted it to be a half an hour, man. The intentions were good. And a big salute. Over 200 on the ups. Middle of the afternoon. 21 minutes notice. And now we're going toward 250. Thank you guys, man. You guys rock. Let's do it again tomorrow. Again, hopefully we get to rock this out live. To my gold members, man, much love. I'm going to spare you the fucking roll call today, all right? You're getting off the hook. Only because we're about 45 minutes over schedule. But I'm going to let you guys off the hook on the roll call. But I see all my green names, my gold cards up there, man. To my entire red team, I appreciate you guys. To my gold unit, next level, thank you, and beyond. Salute, guys. Marie, I appreciate that. Marie. Check you guys, man. We'll do this again tomorrow, man. Hopefully Raw's good. I'll be watching all 3 fucking hours. And I'll be doing my due diligence on my nose, on my notes. My nose, like Triple H. Triple H is doing notes on his fucking notes. I'll be giving no mulligans tonight, guys, just because they had a good Royal Rumble. I want to let that know now, all right? Just so you're not shocked tomorrow. BC's not giving them any mulligans? No, man. You're the fucking company that put 2 pay-per-views within 3 weeks of one another. Why the fuck are we gonna sit back and watch 3 hours of a horseshit show? No. You put 2 pay-per-views back to back so you can collect more pennies out of everybody's wallet. Well, now you have to produce the goods. So BC is absolutely going to be rocking out. And Jared9, real quick, I hope so. Because anytime Beth Phoenix is face-to-face with Rhea Ripley, BC's rocking out. Check you guys, man. We'll do this again tomorrow. Salute. Get him up. Get amplified.